We all know shows like Unsolved Mysteries or Cold Case Files, and it's fun to speculate as to what could have happened in these mystery crime shows. To think about the truth, but in the end you never really get the answer that you're looking for. Every now and again it's nice to get a little bit of closure about the wild world we live in, because so many things are unanswered, so when you get to the bottom of something, you can feel like Sylvester Stallone at the end of Rocky IV. Hello Most Amazing Top 10 family, I am your host Jay Dorena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Today is going to be about pure satisfaction, as we are going to give you story after story that has a beautiful conclusion with our list of top 10 strangest solved mysteries. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and stick around for the whole list because I'm going to be reading out some questions from my Instagram inbox. If you guys want me to read out and answer your questions, then you can hit me up through the gram. Without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have Cicada 3301. If we were to spend this video looking at the mysteries of the internet, it would literally never end. Internet mysteries pop up faster than we can whack them down, and Cicada 3301 is one of the biggest ones out there. It's essentially a puzzle that anyone out there can try and solve, and people are actually encouraged to solve. It has a lot to do with data security, so being able to crack the code would require some serious hacking skills. But this has been a massive puzzle that has been sitting out on the internet since 2012. And thanks to the hive mind of Reddit, several people have been able to make it to the end of this puzzle, and if you yourself want to try and crack the code, you can use some of the links that are on Reddit to help you get through your journey. As crazy as the Reddit community can seem at times, it's actually one of the most helpful that you can come across. Everyone has been able to solve some small problem with the step-by-step help of a Reddit forum. Now, the mystery still stands as to who made this thing. Some people think that it could be a recruitment tool created by the CIA to try and draw people in. So if you make it to the end of this problem, maybe you get a job out of it. Coming in at number 9, we have the Death Valley Sailing Stones. This is a mystery that immediately had everyone thinking aliens or ghosts, or some people even thought that gnomes could be involved with this. If you don't know, Death Valley is famous for having rocks that seem to sail across the ground on their own. They will leave little trails behind to make it look like the rocks are moving on the ground like giant snails. And even though this was a mystery for years and years, we have gotten to the bottom of it thanks to science. During the winter, Death Valley will become so cold that ice will form underneath these massive rocks. When the sun rises in the morning, this ice will start to melt and become extremely slick. So now it's like the rock is sitting on a giant ice skateboard. Mix that with a little wind or flowing water and the rock will start to slide across the ground, leaving a snail trail like it has been pushed by a ghost. Coming in at number 8, we have the disappearance of Craig Williams. This one is pulled right from the Unsolved Mysteries TV show, and it's absolutely wild. Craig was out on a vacation in Colorado. He was with his wife, and one day he decided to do a solo trip. I totally get this. I don't know if you have ever been traveling with someone, but sometimes it can be the most stressful thing that you have ever done together, so it makes sense that they wanted a little break from each other. Well, Craig went for a hike and then he never came back. A search was launched, but he could not be found. Years went by, the episode of Unsolved Mysteries aired, and then it was on reruns, and then Craig saw himself in an episode. Say what? Yeah, Craig saw himself in an episode and realized that he'd been missing but didn't even know. He contacted the people at the show and then he was reunited with his wife. Now, how did this man forget that he had a wife and a life before his mysterious hike? Well, here's what happened. While on his hike, he was attacked by two men who beat him so bad he lost his memory. Seeing himself on TV gave him a flashback and he was able to piece things back together. Coming at number 7, we have the Webdriver Torso. If you're a fan of internet mysteries, then you for sure have heard about this one, and you probably don't by the answer that was given out, but I'm putting it on this list all the same. The Webdriver Torso was a series of videos that started popping up on YouTube. They were extremely strange. They were just a white background and some squares that would pop up. They were usually red and blue, and in these videos there's also some noises. You could hear some beeping that almost sounded like a 1994 dial-up internet connection. The internet was going crazy about this one. People thought it could have been anything from aliens making a YouTube YouTube account to try and communicate with us, to some sort of mind control program that was let loose on the public to try and destroy society? Well, some people weren't satisfied with the conspiracy theories and they went digging. Eventually the whole thing was linked back to Big Bad Daddy Google. They had been putting up these videos, but why? They said it was just to test video quality. Is this true? Who knows, but maybe we should just leave this mystery at the status of solved. Coming in at number 6, we have the Bermuda Triangle. When I was a kid, this was considered one of the most mysterious places in the world. Every cartoon made it seem like no plane or boat could make it through this area without crashing into the ocean and vanishing in a way that made it seem like they never existed at all. Every time it happened, it would seem like some sort of mystery storm or alien influence kicked them off course and then sent the people on board to an early grave. And on top of all this, the wreckage from these crashes could very rarely be found. Well, it turns out that the Bermuda Triangle does not have more wreckage than any other place in the world, and it makes sense that there have been some ships that have gone down in the area because the area is huge and surrounded by 3 major land masses, so there would be a lot of boat and plane traffic. Also, the reason that the wreckage is so hard to find is from the rather strong current that comes from the Gulf. Coming in at number 5, we have the hit and run sleuths. This one isn't that strange of a mystery, but the way that it was solved was pretty crazy, so I had to throw it on this list. If you learn anything from the list we are making today, it's don't mess with Reddit. It would seem that Redditors are quick to use their hive mind abilities to track down whoever wronged someone and make them come to justice. This all started when Redditor Meatheaded wasn't going to let someone get away with a hit and run. They saw someone zoom by and smash into a car and a piece of the car flew off. It was a headlight. But this headlight belonged to what kind of car? Well, this Redditor took a photo of the headlight and brought it to the Reddit page, "What is this thing?" And the hive mind started to work. It didn't take them long to crack the code. The Redditor took this information and brought it over to the victim, who gave it to the police. They were able to link that info to a Brome that was stolen and then track down the person who had stolen the car and committed a few crimes along the way. Coming in at number 4, we have Evil Teddy Ruxpin. Back in the day, there was a talking toy named Teddy Ruxpin. He was so cute and would say a bunch of things that were absolutely adorable, until a few people started reporting that a demonic voice was coming from the toy. What the hell? Why was this happening? Were a few people's toys exposed to a demonic force? No, this was actually just the batteries running low, and it would cause the voice to come out in this deep slow motion fashion. Coming in at number 3, we have Margo Freshwater's breakouts. Here's a wild story. Margo Freshwater is one of the most notorious fugitives in American history. She was arrested and sentenced for murder, but while she was in jail, she was able to escape and head out on the run. While out in the wild, she murdered 2 more people and was on the run for years before she was caught again. She was sentenced again, but this time to a mental hospital where she would escape another time. Then it was seen that she was gone for good. Years of searching went out, but no one could find out where she was. And then she was found with a whole other identity, and she had a family whom she lied to about her past. Coming in at number 2, we have the alien flying rods. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these alien rods, but they were the center of a pretty intense alien conspiracy. There were rods of light that were videotaped in the sky. Some hardcore alien lovers were convinced that it must be aliens floating around. People were studying this phenomenon, and they thought that if they could get close enough, it would unlock the key to connecting with aliens. But it turns out that the whole thing was just moths. There were large moths that were floating around in the night sky in low light that would reflect off them, and then when you mix in a camera, you would get some slow motion blur, and it would end up looking like little glowing orbs floating through the air. Alright, and coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Shia LaBeouf's flag. Okay, if you ever thought you shouldn't mess around with Reddit, 4chan will come at you even faster, and really they just want to ruin your day for their own entertainment. They will troll you better than anyone has ever trolled before, and this is proof. Back in 2017, after the Trump election, Shia LaBeouf wanted to make a statement to bring people together. He did this through a live stream webcam in New York on the street that said, "He will not divide us." People on 4chan started trolling him, so he moved it to Albuquerque, and people started trolling it again. So he decided he would change it to a flag that was just on the top of a pole with the camera pointed to the sky so no one could find out where this flag was and mess with it. And 4chan started mapping out flight patterns in the background, wind directions, animal noises, and star patterns, and within 1 day they had taken down the flag and replaced it with Trump propaganda. And here's the thing, I don't even think these people are Trump supporters. They just love trolling. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now I'm going to answer some questions from my Instagram inbox. Tony DVX wrote in and asked, if you could reincarnate as an alien breed, what breed would you be? I think it would be a Kryptonian because that would be awesome because you obviously get all these amazing superpowers. Also, being an Autobot wouldn't be that bad. You get to be a big robot and battle for freedom until all your people die or a scrap pile or whatever. I would love that a lot. Liv1408 wrote in and asked, what is your spirit animal? Honestly, I think it's a dog. It's probably like something with a big head and a heavy body like a Mastiff or a Pit Bull, but one that is really friendly and has like a big smile and loves to be squeezed and cuddled all the time. Like if you guys know Bronson the Bully on Instagram, he is probably my spirit animal. I love that guy. And finally, Radioactive Game wrote in and asked, if you had $1 million to spend on anything with no consequences, what would you spend it on? Honestly, I would probably get some property or invest in something, but that's kind of a boring answer, so if that's not an option, I think I would use it to travel. I would take off for as long as I could and see every inch of the world until I was bored or found somewhere that I fell in love with and wanted to settle down. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, Jade Arena, and keep solving those mysteries.